a new series where I share a little devotional while I dry my hair. When I first put my faith in Jesus, somebody asked if it was genuine. See, a friend of mine invited me to church, and then that friend became my boyfriend, and now he's actually my husband. And so the question was posed, would Amanda really be saved if she didn't have a thing with this guy? From the outside, it looked like I was chasing God because I was chasing after a guy. And although a lot of stories start like that, I mean, humble beginnings still make incredible testimonies. This was a little bit different. If I look back, what comes to mind is that Jesus met me where I found him. And this kind of revelation comes to me 2 years after I've been chasing Jesus. And it came to me in a stomach ache. I was in bed one night sleeping, and then I'm woken up at 5 a.m. with shooting pains in my stomach. And my first line of defense when it comes to these things is always prayer. When it comes to anything, it's always prayer. And so I pray, Lord, please just take this pain away from me. And I'm just praying and praying, and my thoughts, I start to think, and my mind starts to wander, as you know, as we do. And I'm so far from my prayer now, and by sheer dumb luck, I realized that I'm no longer in pain. The lucky part wasn't that I wasn't in pain. The lucky part was that I realized that I wasn't in pain anymore. Because honestly, how many of us sleep on our answered prayers? And so I thought, wow. We notice our pain, but we rarely notice the absence of our pain. We never notice the absence of our hurt. In fact, we take it for granted. So when you're hearing this, stay with me here. Your first thought, I doubt, was Amanda's wearing socks. It's probably the furthest thing from your mind, but sure enough, I do have socks on. And honestly, it's the furthest thing from my mind, but I do. I have them, and it's not until I'm out in a puddle or step in a puddle do I realize that I'm covered. And in the same way, it's not until we've been saved from that car accident do we realize that we've been protected. In the same way, it's not until we're living paycheck to paycheck but our fridge is still full do we realize that we have been provided for. It's not until we have lived through abuse do we realize that we have been saved for something greater. But I believe that Jesus says, I'm not only here when you need me, I'm always here. I know that Jesus met me where I found him. John chapter 1 verse 48 says, how do you know me? Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you. Even the woman at the well was in the presence of Jesus and denied him once. She took him for granted. Jesus answered her, if you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him and he would have given you living water. He told her, go call your husband and come back. I have no husband, she replied. Jesus said to her, you are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband, but what you have said is quite true. See, Jesus met the Samaritan woman where she found him, when she opened her eyes to him. And I can't help but think of this YouTuber. See, I was in a rabbit hole of curly hair YouTube, and I come across this testimony, and the testimony was short and sweet, but it was so profound. She shared that she was raised in a Muslim household, she had a Muslim family, she was Muslim, and she felt so disconnected from God, and she just felt like she kept on hitting a wall. And so one day she prays and she has a conversation with God, and she says, who are you? Reveal yourself to me. And that night, she had a dream that she was in church worshiping Jesus. And she said that she felt love and warmth. And that for the next 2 weeks, she was having prophetic dreams. And through meeting Jesus in her dreams, she realized that he was the truth. And I heard this and I had chills on my body, because this woman had never stepped into a church. And then she asked for the revelation, and God gave it to her. But Jesus didn't just show up, he was there the whole time. But it wasn't until she had hit the wall did she realize that she was living her life with Jesus in the waiting. And I love this because this perfectly lines up with the fact that Christianity is the only religion in which God comes to us. You see, Jesus came down from heaven, and now the Spirit that lives in him lives in us. And we have constant access to that. And this is his command, to believe in the name of his Son, Jesus Christ, and to love one another as he commands us. The one who keeps God's commands lives in him, and he in them. And this is how we know that he lives in us. We know it by the Spirit he gave us. That's 1 John chapter 3, verse 23 to 24. But this message that I'm saying to you right now, it isn't so that you know that Jesus has been alongside of you, that Jesus is with you every day. That's nice, that's fantastic, that's absolutely just so amazing. In fact, he's patient and he's perfectly willing to live life alongside you. But I want to encourage you to open your mouth even when the stomach pain goes away, even when things seem to be going right. You should invite him into your everyday moments. You need to invite him into your celebrations. You need to invite him into your safe car rides. You need to invite him into your family that is healthy. You need to invite him into your happy marriages, because Jesus is worthy to be praised at every moment.